Yo, what's up everyone? Welcome to another video of Wizard101. So today we're looking at the new update that just came out in Live Realm. I don't have membership, so I wasn't able to test this update in the test realm, but you guys may have already looked at this new update. It's a bunch of nerfs and balances for each school. So I'm going to go over each school, kind of look at my new, well, not new characters, but they kind of look new. It's kind of freaky. When I'm staring at their faces now, it's not just like a straight face. They're actually moving now, which is, I don't know how I feel about that. Especially Chris, he looks he looks pretty bad now. Oh my gosh, just look at him. He looks so happy. Like, oh my gosh. How does Elizabeth look now? Oh. Well, she turned into a beauty. Okay. Wow. Luke's pretty much the same way as Chris, yeah. And Jason, alright. So my characters look even more happier than before. So, I mean, that's new, I guess. Their clothes look kind of sharp. They look kind of sharper than the previous update in the live realm. So, yeah. Looks pretty flashy and stuff. So I'm going to go through each one of these characters one by one and look at like the new nerfs, new spells and stuff. So we're just going to go over this new update and check it out on each character. Since we have one character of each school, I'm going to go through each one and all the nerf spells and each character since I have all the spells for all the schools. So we're going to start with Chris here. Since he's usually my first character, I usually max out nearly all the time. So we're going to go with Chris first, and we're just going to go with some random character after that. So it's not going to be in some particular order. I'm just going to pick one character, and we're just going to go over. So, oh, first things first, this is brand new. So we have a new, like, screen every time we log in. Looks like it tells you, like, what your main quest is here off to the right. And it looks like it tells you your daily assignments, some latest game news, events, and just some like basic stuff. It also says how many crowns you have. Hey, yeah, you guys get a little peek of how many crowns I have now. And also some recommendations. All right. And like, I mean, also it just pulls up the crown shop pretty much immediately when you log into the game. They're just trying to promote their crown shop more, I guess. So that's new. They pop up that every time you log in, which and it's not that annoying, but you know, it's pretty new. I'm going to go into a realm that's not so populated because there's so many people online right now. I mean, look at this. These realms are full. These are almost full. Like, good lord, there's a lot of people playing Wiz right now. People thought Wiz was dying. No, it's not dying. It is. There's a lot of people still. Alright, so let's go ahead and check out the new update. Nothing stat-wise changed at all, guys, so don't really have to worry about that. The main difference in this game, though, will be the spells. So let's go in our storm spells here. So nothing really changed for some of these spells here. Tempest still the same. I'm not sure if Thunder Snake looks the same. That hasn't changed. Bat's still the same. Sword Shark's still the same. Kraken's same. Catch of the day. Stormzilla is still the same. Alright, let's get to the big boys. Triton. I don't know if Triton changed or not. It looks the same to me. So it looks like Triton's the same. Stormlord's still the same. Oh, King Art is different. It looks like the damage is consistent at 1,115 now for 8 pips. They changed Leviathan. Leviathan's now 975 damage consistently, and it removes 2 charms instead of 1 charm. So I guess you can use this for PvP to remove charms. And Sirens though got debuffed. Some people are going to probably be upset about that. I'm not too upset about that. It just helps me for questing. I don't really PvP. So for people who do like 2v2s or like 3v3, 4v4, whatever. This is going to be a pain for them because they can't use the Scion to remove 2 charms, and you know it doesn't put the minus 50% accuracy anymore. Instead, it does 765, 905, which I think is okay for a 9-pip spell. It's not the greatest though. That's actually pretty bad for an AoE, but it gives a minus 40% still, so that, I mean, that's okay, I guess. It looks like they debuffed Storm Owl just a little bit as well, so now it does 1330 to 1470. I mean, that's okay as well. I don't really use Storm Owl much, as you guys can tell by my deck right now. I'm using pretty much just AoEs for farming and stuff on this wizard. But when I do face bosses, I will put this spell in. Still, Storm Scion, still a great spell. I mean, it still does the same thing, so don't even really look at the Storm Scion. Iron Sultan, they debuffed. Looks like it does 948 divided to enemies, which is okay. It's a 4-pip power pip, not power pip, 4-pip shadow pip spell. So that makes sense. I'm a little depressed about this a little bit. I mean, look, this is a 4-pip spell, but it kind of makes sense because you're dividing it to enemies. So this is still better for AoE. If you're going for shadow. Glow bugs, I'm probably not going to use it as much as I used to, but I will still probably use it. I mean, it's still good. It still has 940 damage to all enemies. The only downside is it doesn't have that juicy enfeeble anymore. So it doesn't have no more enfeeble. So if you need an enfeeble enemy, you're just going to have to bring that enfeeble spell. I mean, that's no problem. But you can no longer use this spell to cheat your way to get in free enfeeble on all enemies anymore. You're just gonna have to just use this spell to hit from now on. So, I mean, that's okay. No big problem. Rosoko's Wrath. Looks like she got a little bit of nerf. Not too much, but she's still really good. 1350 damage. Plus 30, negative 30. That's still the same as last time. The only thing different about her is her damage. But looks like that's it for pretty much Storm. I'm not seeing any other major changes for Storm. So yeah, that's it for Storm, guys. Let's move on to the next school. Alright guys, we're here with the next school. We're with Ice. Again, that screen popped up like usual. So we are gonna go over the Ice's debuffs or slash buffs, whichever one they are. We just don't know. It's my first look into this, so I'm not even sure like if there's hardly any changes involved with Ice, but I think I've seen like little glimpses. There's some big changes for like Weaver and stuff, but this is my first look into the actual live updates. So let's take a look. Nothing changed with the stats. Stats are pretty much the same, like normal. And of course, a big change here. Wait a second. Wait. Let's go back. I saw what? Okay, this is new. This is new. It's no longer a percentage, guys. Shadow is no longer a percentage. Huh. That's interesting. So I have 102 Shadow Pip rating now. 65 base. I'm not really sure. I guess it kind of works similar to... I'm not sure how Shadow Pip really works anymore without the percentage, but I guess it kind of acts like the jewels in a way, I guess now. So, I mean, I guess that's all right. As long as I still get a Shadow Pip during my battles, that should be fine. But yeah, it looks like they changed Shadow Pip a little bit. Like they changed it from percentage to a base rating, I guess. So that is new. That wasn't there before, but everything else seems to be the same. Yeah, everything else is the same. It's just Shadow Pip is a little bit different, which makes sense. Shadow is kind of OP in a way. But let's go ahead and look at our Ice spells here. Of course, nothing changed for like a lot of the lower end spells, of course, for Ice. Yeah, nothing changed there. Nothing changed for Blizzard. Yeah, Frostbite's still the same. It's probably, yep, starting from Frost Giant. Oh my gosh. Guys, this is depressing. Oh no. Ice. Ice is worse now, guys. It's Frost Giant just got nerfed again, bro. Why does Frost Giant need to take a hit? Frost Giant was already bad. It was 475 damage for 7 pip. If you compare Ice Giant to all the other 7 pips, it is the worst 7 pip spell in the game now. This is bad. 460 ice damage and you stun all enemies for one round. I mean, Stormlord is 690, but I saw the Fire Dragon earlier today, guys, and the Fire Dragon blows all the other 7 pip spells out of the water now. Like, they made Fire Dragon godlike compared to this. This is sad. 460. It used to be 475. They should have like at least buffed it to 500 instead of lower it 15. I don't understand what King's Owls think. Frost Giant was already bad and they just made it worse. Snow Angel looks like it does. Okay, that makes sense. Instead of 100, it does 35 now, and I think the overtime is still the same as previously. So Snow Angel didn't really change much. Oh my gosh. If you compare this to the Storm King art, okay, so you gain a pip, yeah, sure. But the Storm King art's like 1,150 damage. The Ice one's only 650. That's like 400 less than the Storm. And this school is supposed to be it's an 80% accuracy school. And the 8 pip spell only does 650 damage. Like what? Hey? What? King art for Ice is terrible. I mean, you can still use it, but it is terrible compared to the other one I just saw previously in the video. Woolly Mammoth. Okay, Woolly Mammoth is alright for 9 pips, but it used to be, I think it used to be like 1,000 damage. Now they debuffed Woolly Mammoth quite a bit. I mean, at least it still stuns. Like, it still stuns, but 740, 840, I mean, it's alright, I guess. I mean, way better than King Art here, but it is still pretty bad, guys. Like, I don't know what to say. This spell, don't know. Oh. Lord of Winter. How big of a oh my. Okay, Lord of Winter got nerfed too. 835 to 935. I feel sorry for Ice Wizards now. I mean, this is still good. It's still minus. It still takes away 2 pips, but the damage. I mean, for a 10 pip spell, I don't know. I would prefer to use this now. Cataclysm, 732 damage divided. I mean, that's still pretty good for a 4 pip spell. Like, this is still good. Oh, okay. Oh, they reduced the accuracy on these. These are now 75%. They're no longer like 80. Okay, so that makes sense now. All right, so it looks like Scion of Ice, you know, it's still good. Like, Scion of Ice is still good. Snowball Barrage, though, it got buffed. It's no longer 85 per pip. It's 95 per pip. That makes sense because Tempest is level 28 spell. This is a level 108 spell. So that makes sense that they made this 15 more damage in the Temp, because it still requires a Shadow Pip. Like, that makes sense. If they made it worse than Temp, then I would be questioning King's Owl, because Temp is level 28 and it does like 80 per pip. This is a level 108 spell, so it has to do more. So it makes sense. They also made it 75% chance. That makes sense as well. I mean, it's a great spell. I'll still use this. Abominable Weaver. This is still good. It's 790, 910, minus 50% shield. It is still pretty good in PvP. I mean, the shield's less, damage less, but it's still pretty good. So, I mean, you could still pretty much spam Weaver in PvP. And that's not a problem. But, you know, I'll still use this as a single hit. I'll still probably use the Lord of Winter as well. But Ice just got, like, the shaft when it comes to, like, the lower end spells like King Art, Frost Giant, Woolly Mammoth. Snow Angel's alright. Like, I can understand that, but these two spells right here just got a big nerf. So, you know, Ice got the shaft, the short end of stick on those two, but, you know, this was understandable. This is understandable. And I'm fine with these. Like, I'm fine with these. I'm not too mad about Lord of Winter. It was a good spell. It still is a decent spell now. So that's it for Ice. Let's go ahead and move on to a different school now, guys. So I'll see you then. Alright, guys. Welcome back to my Myth character. So we are going over his stats and spells next. Yeah, I'm not even gonna bother checking those stats anymore because nothing changed really besides the shadow rating. Here's normal spells. Nothing really changed to them. They're all still pretty much the same for Myth. Biggest changes is gonna be higher up. Like Minotaur is still the same. Here we go. Here's the big changes. Okay, so the biggest change probably might be Orthrus here. Orthrus is no longer a single hit. It is now an AoE. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. This is kind of good. Because you can still use Minotaur to get rid of those shields, but Myth has a good AoE for a 7-pip spell. Oh my gosh. This is for 80% accurate spell. If you compare this to Frost Giant is the same amount of pips, and it stuns an enemy for all enemies for a round. But Frost Giant's only 460 damage. This has like 300 more damage, almost 300 more damage than Frost Giant, which is a big difference. Same amount of accuracy, but it does 700 damage. It does 10 more damage than Storm. I mean, granted, Stormlord does stun them all for a round, but Stormlord is like Storm was supposed to be the biggest hitting school in the game, but Stormlord did not change. It's still 690, but Myth here now has 10 more damage for its 7-pip. I mean, it doesn't stun them, but it still does 10 more damage, and it's Myth. So Orthrus is good for AoE now. That's a good AoE right there for 7 pips. I'm definitely going to be using that from now on. King Art, still pretty good for Myth. It even removes the shield. That's good. And does 50... Oh, that overtime. Okay. King Art is good for Myth still. Medusa. And they nerfed her damage a bit, but she's still pretty annoying. She still does 2 rounds of stun. So she's still good for stuns. Her damage is just nerfed. It's the same as Orthrus. It makes sense. I mean, she got the 2 stun there. But, yeah, that's the same damage, though. This is not... Okay, these damages are so close together. And they're like 10 levels apart. Like, this is 48. This is 58. This is 68. And the damages are like in the 700s. Actually, this is a big leap. Okay, never mind. Basilisk. Ooh, okay. So it does 320 and 750 overtime for 3 rounds. That is good. That is good. That's good overtime. And also stuns an enemy like usual. That's a good 9-pip spell. That is a very good 9-pip spell. I'm not mad about that. These two hardly have any change though between each other for 10 levels. So I'm not sure how I feel about that. Maybe if they rose this just a tad bit more, not too much more. Probably like 750. That would have been better. Celestial Calendar. Woo! They're blowing. Celestial Calendar's blowing Lord of Winter out of the water, guys. I mean, Lord of Winter takes it's -2 pips. But this steals a pip, and it's still 930, 990. Like, Celestial Calendar is still good. It's still a good 10 pip spell. Scion is still pretty much the same. Still good Scion. Snake Charmer is still good. I don't know how I feel about the new Melissa Colossus. I mean, it still removes a shield. Its damage is okay. It's not the best. It's 635 to all enemies. I mean, I just don't know. I don't know. I mean, I'm still probably going to use Mystic Colossus, but if I have 7 pips, I'm going to be using this. If I have 7 pips, I'm going to be using Orthrus. I'm not going to be using Mystic Colossus. But if I have 5 pips and a Shad, and I don't want to wait an extra round, then I'll probably use Mystic Colossus. But if you have 7 pips, go ahead and use Orthrus, because, well, I mean, you don't really need to use Mystic Colossus hardly anymore, because now you have this guy. But if you want to go ahead and hit, if you have 5 pips and a Shadow, go ahead and hit. Or if you don't have Orthrus in hand, then yeah, just go ahead and use Mystic. And it's unfortunate it doesn't have the Shadow anymore. You probably will hardly ever see this spell in people's decks anymore. I'm probably gonna hardly use it anymore, but I mean, it's still pretty good. It's just not as worth it as Orthrus is here. Plus, it's 75%. This is 80, and it does more damage than Mystic when it's a Shadow spell. So, not gonna use Mystic as much anymore. Gonna use Orthrus more. Witch's House Call, we're still gonna use Witch's House Call. It still does great damage and still summons enemy, so that's not gonna change. So the major changes I would say is Mystic Colossus and Orthrus. Medusa got a pretty big nerf, but the biggest changes, Orthrus is no longer a single hit. It does a lot of damage and it's really good for a AoE. Mystic Colossus got a pretty big nerf, so I don't really see people using Mystic Colossus anymore for Myth, so that's going to be a big game changer. But people can still use it. I mean, it's still pretty useful. Removes a shield, does okay damage, but yeah, Orthrus is a new big AoE in the game now, so I mean, that's going to be the biggest change for us. So let's go ahead and move on to the next school now. Alright guys, welcome back. So we are on my life now. So we're going to go over his spells and check out the nerfs and stuff. So let's go ahead and take a look. So again, nothing happened really for like the earlier spells. They're all pretty much the same. So we don't really have to look at those. Don't see any changes there. Alright, here we go. Here's the biggest change right here. Okay. Force Lord, guys. It's no longer 8 pips. And it also got a damage buff. So it's now a 7 pip spell. So it looks like it's now a level 48 spell instead of a level 58, I believe. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if they swapped the quest lines or what they did there, but it's now 7 pips. And it does 620 to 680 damage. That's the biggest change for life, I think, right there. This is gonna be big. This is huge for life. So that's really good for life. That's probably one of the biggest changes for them. King Art, just kind of as depressing as the ice one. Does pretty low damage. I mean, it's okay. 8 pip spell. It does healing for 3 rounds. I mean, it's better than ice one for sure. I will say that. But let's move on from that. Ooh, Rebirth is now 870 instead of 750. So it got buffed by 120, and it's also now an 8 pip heal spell. That's actually pretty good. And still does absorb 400. Then nothing changed with the absorb. Oh no. Oh no. No, 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 no. Oh, that's gonna change. Oh, that changes PvP right there. Oh, I feel bad for those who do PvP. I feel very I feel very bad for you right now if you're a life person who does PvP, because you guys just got the shaft when it comes to gnomes. It's now 8 pips. What? Where's? Wait a second. Wait a second. This might actually be the new biggest change of the update right here. Gnomes is no longer a 9 pip spell? Wait. I'm like totally confused on the order now for life. Oh my gosh. Okay. Oh no. This is bad. I mean, it's hits decent for 8 pips. For 8 pips, okay. For 8 pips comparing to King Art, which is 650. That's a good hit for 8 pips. Like, it's a good hit. I mean, 740, 840, that's not bad for 8 pips. But the 30% heal charm, I mean, they got rid of the double dispel for life. Nah. So gnomes is I mean, people are just going to use that for hits now. They're not going to really use it for anything else. I mean, it's an 8 pip single hit. I mean, it's whatever. But gnomes, nah, probably not going to use gnomes. Spiny Sore, still pretty good. 475 plus 690 overtime. I'm still going to use Spiny Sore. Oh, the overall damage is more than Lord of Winter and Celestial Calendar. So Spiny Sore is still really good for a single hit for and an overtime as well for life. Life Scion, we all know we're not going to talk about Life Scion. Life Scion is still pretty trash. We're not going to talk about it. No one really uses Life Scion, so we're skipping over Life Scion. Lamasu, 732, 4 pip, Shadow Pip spell. That's still actually pretty good, so not too mad about that. Hunger Caliper, ooh, that's a pretty big debuff. Okay, it used to do over 1,000 damage, but I guess it's not that big of a change. But you know, it's whatever. It's understandable they nerfed it a little bit. It's 790, 910 now, single hit spell, 800 absorb. I didn't really know what the absorb was last time. I think it was around that, maybe a little bit less. I'm not sure. I didn't really keep track of the absorb on the last spell. It didn't. I don't think it really told us what kind of absorb. It just said it puts absorb on it. So I don't know if this is high or not, but it's whatever. I mean, it's still a good spell to use. Oh, okay. Ooh. Okay. So we got a bad spell, but we got a good spell now. Wings of Fate. Oh. So this is going to be game changing. PvP and for PvE. Because 75 damage and then it does 375 overtime. But look at that heal. 75 plus 780. Ooh. Wings of Fate is good now, guys. It is good. It's worth using Wing of Fate now. Especially if they have lots of shields on. This is going to be a good spell to use now. Especially life really needed a spell like that. So thankful for that. I am not thankful for this. Gnomes, I'm not thankful for. And of course, Scion alive. I'm not really not thankful for that. I'm really happy about Force Lord, and I'm really happy about Wings of Fate. I mean, the other changes, understandable. I mean, I'm not too depressed or anything about those. Those are understandable. Debuffing those, but gnomes. I just don't know what to say about that spell anymore. But everything else, yeah, it's okay. So that's life, guys. Let's go ahead and move on to the next school now. All right, guys, welcome back. So we are on my fire now. So biggest changes I noticed on my fire from this update. I was actually playing on him earlier to help someone out. Is Fire Dragon. Oh, Fire Dragon. Woo, woo. You guys are gonna see this. Fire Dragon is great. Like, it is a beast now. Like, look at this. Look at this. Huh. If you add that together, that's 975 damage altogether. Plus, you can enchant that. Like, Storm got left in the dust, guys. Storm got left in the dust by fire. This did it. This did it for fire. Like, This is the god of all 7-pip spells now, Fire Dragon. 540 plus 435. Wow. This spell is gonna kick booty in both PvP and in PvE. But probably the biggest change here, the biggest nerf that I'm seeing, is right next to it. Poor little Ifrit here. He's an 8 pips single hit. He only gives a minus 45% accurate, like minus 45% debuff to the enemy instead of minus 90. That's actually really huge for PvP, because fire wizards, they're not going to be able to use E3 as much, because I mean, it's still pretty good to use, but that minus 90 really helped. But since they lowered it by half that, it's not going to be the go-to anymore. And they also lowered the damage on E3. So E3 doesn't do as much damage. Overall, the damage on Fire Dragon, it beats E3. And it's a 48 spell instead of 58, like this one. So, Fire Dragon, oh my. King Art. Fire's King Art is still good. It's still good. I'm still happy about that. It still does a stun. It still does great damage for 8 pips. That's still a good spell to use. Rain of Fire. Not much change to Rain of Fire. 130 damage, 810 overtime. I think it did more last time, but not much change there. I mean, I'm still pretty happy for a 9-pip spell like that. That's still pretty good to use. Ooh, Sun Serpent. Okay. Sun Serpent's still pretty good. They just rose this damage here, I think, and they lowered this one. But it still does a lot of damage. 785, 885 to a single target, and it is 330 to all enemies. That is still pretty good. So Sun Serpent, I'm still going to use that. Sign of Fire, of course, still really good. Scorching Scimitar is really good 4-pip. Fire from Above, it doesn't do the fuel anymore, but it still does plus 25 fire. So Fire from Above is still pretty useful. Excuse me. Yawn there a bit. Ooh, Raging Bull. Looks like Raging Bull will probably got I mean, it's 70% accuracy now, but I mean, the minus 40% inaccuracy instead of minus 25 like last time, that part got buffed. The damage part looks like got a little bit of a debuff, but it's still a really good 6-pip spell for Shadow. Like, that's still a really good spell to use. So, I'm Still gonna use it, of course. Still really good spell. Overall, fire. I'm pretty happy about fire. But wow, fire dragon, boy. Oh, like man, this spell is gonna shake the world. That is insane for a 7-pip spell. Oh my gosh, like ooh. Especially for max levels, because you start off with 5 pips, and if you have 100% shadow pip, you can just pretty much summon that the next round. And if you have everyone blade you in one round, and you critical, that's probably like 15k damage right away on the second round. That is insane. So if you're in PvP and you all blade stack a fire the first round, and by the time the second round comes and they fire dragon, that's pretty much a win. Like, no contest. Like, that's pretty much a win. That spell's doing a lot. It's doing a lot of damage. It's got a lot of overtime. Got a big hit. And if you blade that person with 4, if they got 4 blades on them and they critical, that's pretty much everybody. GG. Good luck. Like, this spell's gonna rule PvP especially for like 2v2, 3v3, 4v4, because they can hit fast. Like, I mean, fire shield's not really gonna help you. That overtime is still pretty big. I mean, you can still fire rampage, but this is really good for like multis and PvP. Okay, well. We had enough fun on fire. Fire definitely... I'm sorry, Storm. But looking at your spell... Looking at Stormlord hardly changing. Fire's overall like 900 something damage. You're still 690. Looks like Fire got the best of Storm now for damage spells. So, I mean, lower level spells, Storm still takes the crown, but for higher level spells above level 48, I'm sorry, but Fire now takes the lead. All right, so we have enough on with that now. Oh wait, ooh, what? Did I change that? Is there cracks on the Death School? Yeah, there is. Oh, I didn't notice that till now. All right, let's move on to the next school. Alright guys, we're on Jason here. Let's go ahead and check out his spells and see the death changes. Again, nothing happened with the earlier spells. So let's look at... Ooh, okay. Biggest change so far I'm seeing is Scarecrow. Woo! Scarecrow got a buff, guys. Scarecrow got a buff. Oh my. It used to be 450 damage. Now it does 590 and half to everyone. Half to me. So that is really good for a 7-pip. 100 less damage than Stormlord. But that is really good. I'm happy about that. King Art. Hardly any change there. Skeleton Dragon. Okay. I think they lowered the overtime on Skeleton Dragon. It made it hit a little bit harder in the beginning. I'm not sure. But I think overall, though, Skeleton Dragon got a debuff, which makes sense. This spell was really good. It's still really good to use. Dr. Vaughn. Oh, wait a second here. Wait a second. Okay, Dr. Vaughn got a pretty big debuff. I think it used to be like 800 and 900 damage, but now it's 700. Actually, I think it was 850 damage. Okay, yeah. It was like 800, 850. So, I mean, that's like negative 100 damage than last time. This is still a really good spell to use. 720, you get half of that back for a single hit. Minus 50% healing charm to the enemy. So that's still pretty good to use. Okay. Oh, excuse me. Oh, did Avenging Fossil get a buff? Looks like it got a little bit of debuff. Same thing with Sun Serpent, got like a little debuff here at the big first hit. But it looks like it got a buff for the overtime. That's interesting. 260 overtime. That's actually pretty good. So I'm happy about the new Avenging Fossil. I'm happy about that. Looks like Scion on Death got a little bit of debuff. I'm noticing. It's 850. So I don't know how I feel about that. Looks like Scion of Death got a little bit of debuff, guys. But I don't know. I mean, it's still a pretty good spell. But it's pretty much like Dr. Vaughn was in the past. But it still does ×2 if you or the enemy's less than 33%. So Kisma, still a good 4-pip Shadow Pip spell. Lulu. I'm not too happy about the new Lulu, to be honest with you guys. It used to do like 800 damage, but now it's 675. You guys can probably already tell what I'm thinking of. That's sad. I'm not happy about the new Lulu. Because the reason being, because this is 7 pips, but you're not necessarily going to get Shadow each time. So there's not too much a big difference between Scarecrow and Lulu now. I mean, Lulu still does more damage, but you have to get the Shadow to use it. I mean, it's still okay damage, but I mean, it was pretty OP. I give it that. If you spam Lulu, your Death Wizard is gonna live forever. Like it was gonna happen. So it makes sense that they lowered the damage on this. But again, just at least make it 700. 675. I don't know. I mean, I guess it's okay, but this was my most used spell as Death because it was just so good. But now I don't know anymore. I'm probably not going to use it as much. I'm probably going to use more Scarecrows if I don't get a Shad, and of course I'm going to use Deer Knight like usual. Wing Sorrow, it got a debuff. Like, that's clear as day. It got a debuff. Less damage, less debuff for the enemy. It used to do -30. Now it's -20. And damage is less. So that got changed as well. So biggest changes for Death. There's actually a lot of changes for Death. There's a buff for Scarecrow. I don't think King Art changed hardly much. That's okay. Skeleton Dragon, not much change. It's still good. Dr. Vaughn, pretty sizable debuff, but it's still pretty good for 9 pips. Avenging Fossil, I'm happy about. It's good. I consider that a buff. Scion of Death got debuffed. I mean, I'm probably not going to really use Scion of Death, but I'm pretty sure a lot of people are unhappy about this. Kisma, I'm still pretty happy about Kisma. No change there. Lulu, though. Lulu got nerfed quite a bit. Not too much, though. Probably like minus, I think, 100 or almost nearly 200. So it got nerfed quite a bit. Wing Sorrow got nerfed quite a bit too. Probably like 100 damage or so. I'm not sure. I gotta remember, but I think it's about minus 100 damage, and also the debuff here is a little bit different as well from last time. So Death School got a few spells nerfed. but it also got some buffs. So death in this new update, I mean, they're kind of neutral in this update for when it comes to the buffs and debuffs. So death is still pretty good, not too bad. So let's go ahead and move on to the very last school, which will be balance here. So I'll see you guys then on my balance. Alright guys, so we're on my balance now. I'm going to go ahead and check out the balance buffs and debuffs. I've heard balance got actually a lot of buffs. Like, they got quite a bit of buffs. So let's go ahead and check them out here. So, looks like, you know, of course, all the earlier spells are still pretty much the same. I'm not seeing any change there. Alright, here we go. Here we go. Starting at Hydra, looks like. Hydra got a buff. Hydra got a big buff. 230 each. That is a pretty big buff, if you ask me. I think that's better than... I think that's better than Stormzilla. I mean, I think Stormzilla still does more damage, but I think that's on par with the big boys like Stormzilla and Elephant. Like, Hydra is competing against those now. That's a good buff. That's good. That is good. Power Nova got a... I don't even know what to say about Power Nova. I don't even know what I don't even know what to say about Power Nova. Is that a buff? Is that a buff? Oh my gosh. Wait a second. I just looked at the next spell. Oh no, don't do this to me, game. Don't do this to me, King Zao. Don't. No. So Power Nova got its damage boosted, but they took away the weakness it gives. So Power Nova it's a good 7-pip. It is a great 7-pip spell now. It doesn't give them -25, but they buffed it. They buffed Power Nova. It doesn't have the weakness anymore, but overall, I consider this a buff. It does 665 damage now. But then we look at Raw. Okay, this is... What happened here? What happened here, guys? What happened to Raw? What happened to the top contender against Force Lord? What happened here? Oh no. Oh no, Raw. No. Raw got a pretty big nerf on damage. It got a pretty big nerf on damage, but it has a -40% damage on all enemies. So it's pretty much a Virulence and old Power Nova mixed together. So I can kind of guess that's... I mean, it's useful for, like... I mean, I don't know when... I mean, maybe against Renegade it'll be useful. I mean, you're not really hitting though at Renegade. I mean, I guess PvP for multis, but PvE? I don't think this can be used for PvE, guys. I don't think anyone will really use this for questing anymore, because they'll just replace it with Power Nova now because it does more damage. And you don't really need the -40% anymore. I mean, I guess it works for like bosses who have like a lot of minions that do lots of damage. But other than that, this spell is only going to be useful for PvP, really. It's not going to be useful for questing. So this spell is pretty much off the list now for me when it comes to questing. I'm going to be using Power Nova more. I'm not going to be using Raw. So I'm going to be using these two spells more. I'm not going to be using this spell like at all anymore. Like, this spell is going to be out of my deck. Like, I'm not going to use it anymore for, like, questing. Because it doesn't do as much damage as Power Nova does. I mean, if I was in a scenario where the bosses and the minions had so much crazy damage, then yeah, sure, I'll probably use this to do the minus 40 if I needed to wipe out the minions and also put a debuff on the boss. Okay, but if you have a Death Wizard, you don't really need to. Like, Juju spam. I mean, this spell is pretty much worthless now. So, raw, guys. This spell is pretty much, it's not even useful for questing anymore. It's not. PvP, though, I can see you guys being pretty hype about this for PvP, though. For multis in PvP, this can be useful. This can be useful for multis in PvP, but it's not useful for questing at all. So I'm not even sure what to say about that. Even the King Art, I mean, this King Art's okay. This King Art's okay. It gives him minus 45% debuff, and it's 8 pips. That is okay. I mean, the damage is a lot better than raw. If you're doing singles in PvP, you might want to use this instead of this. This is kind of like this is like an Ifrit for balance now. Technically, this is an Ifrit for balance now. Because Ifrit now does minus 45% as well. So this is pretty much an Ifrit for balance, technically. So balance has an Ifrit now, guys. It's King Art. It's King Art. So balance. Ooh. Oh. Okay. This is different too. Oh my. Oh my. Oh my, oh my, oh my. Chimera got a buff. Chimera got a buff. 345 each head. That is good. That's a good 9 pip. That's a good 9 pip spell right there. I'm happy about that. That is good for balance. Sabertooth. I'm still pretty happy about Sabertooth. Looks like it gives more shields now. It doesn't give just the spirit ones, it gives the elemental ones, it looks like now. So I'm happy about that. And its debuff's not that large either. Like, it's still a good spell now. It protects you from all spells pretty much, except for balance, but it is a good spell still. So Sabertooth, Chimera, King Art, Power Nova, pretty much all these I'm pretty happy. I'm not going to use King Art though for like questing, but for PvP though, that's pretty good for PvP. Oh my. I just saw what was at the last slot there. Let's go ahead and look at these others though. Scion balance, I don't really care about Scion balance. It's still, I mean, that's still okay. That's like, yeah, okay. Moving on to Sandworm, still a good 4 pip spell, 768 damage divided. That is still a great 4 pip, just like the others. They all seem to be all in the 700 range, so that's still good. I think the Storm and Fire ones are actually 800 plus, so I mean that's good. Gaze of Fate. That got nerfed. Gaze of Fate, I think, used to do up to 500 damage for the first hit. Now it does 325 and 345 mystery. That's bad. Like, I didn't really use Gaze of Fate anyways, so. Oh, sorry. Okay, but that's Gaze of Fate's bad. Let's just say that it got nerfed. I wouldn't use that for 5 pip. It's not even an AoE, and if you look at Lulu still does like 600 something damage for an AoE. This is a single hit. And Lulu's 5 pips. This is 5 pips. Lulu's AoE 600 something damage. This is a single hit. I think it's like almost, like it does 700. What is that? 770 damage per single hit. So I don't know. I mean, I'm probably not going to use it because it's kind of risky for that second hit. First hit is a guarantee, you know, it's going to be balanced, but the second hit's kind of risky. So I don't know. If it accidentally uses the same school as a boss, then, you know, you're kind of screwed for your hit. But if it uses something else than that, then that can be pretty good, pretty decent. But I don't know. But this though, ooh, oh my goodness, wow! Looks like King Zhao decided to buff all the balance spells that weren't balance damage, so that is great. Besides Spectral Blast, did it even change Spectral Blast, or is it still the same? It looks like it's still the same, but wow! Nested Fury got a buff. 805 Ice, 970 Fire, and 1050 Storm to all enemies. That is the new best AoE in the game, guys. I'm sorry, but Balance now has the best AoE in the game. Because if you look at Ice, I don't think Ice... I mean, this is 6 pips in a Shad. I don't think Ice even has an AoE now that does 805 damage. Like, Snowball Barrage is on par, but I mean that's still 805 ice damage. Even Bowl, 6 pips for Bowl, it does like 800 damage, 800 something for like the maximum damage. This does 970 for Fire, 970 for the same amount of pips in Shad. Same thing with Storm. Storm Bugs does like, I think 940 now. This does 1050. Like, this is the new best AoE in the game now, I think. Storm, so I think the new best AoEs, Nested Fury is probably the best AoE now in the game. Orthrus is really good for AoE. Fire Dragon is probably the best 7-pip AoE. Also one of the best AoEs. If you combine all Fire Dragon's hit, it probably is equal to this, which is surprising. So, yeah. Fire Dragon is probably the number 2 best AoE in the game. Even if it's 7 pips, it's not a Shad either. So I think this is the number 1 just because of the Storm and the, you know, I like that. Like, but Fire is, I think, number 2. So we got this number 1, got Fire number 2, and then we got Forest Lord and Orthrus following up. I think Forest Lord and Orthrus are pretty much tied for the number 3 slot for best AoEs. So, I mean, Stormlord, I guess I could throw Stormlord in that bunch too, because Stormlord is still really good. I mean, it stuns all enemies, so, I mean, it's still up there. But Fire Dragon just completely blew all the 7-pip spells out of the water this update, which is pretty insane. So, wow. My overall thoughts though, guys. Let's just say Fire is probably going to be the new best hitting school in the game now. Storm is still pretty good for hitting. I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, they're master of critical still. But Fire is now going to be the new hitter. Storm's going to be the second best hitter following up. Myth is going to come back for AoEs now with Orthrus, but they are lacking in their Shad AoE, Colossus. So that's kind of balanced there, I guess. Balance is making a comeback in this update, a big comeback in this update, I think. So Balance wizards who used to do PvP, Balance is making a comeback now. Balance has pretty much a balance Ifrit with the King Art spell, minus 45%. And Ifrit got nerfed, so that's pretty much the new balance Ifrit right there, guys, for PvP. So, yeah. I think balance, it's really good for balance in this update for PvP wise. Also for questing. So, the biggest changes overall, I think, is for balance. Balance overall, I think, got the biggest changes. Fire also had some big changes. Death had some. Myth had some big changes as well. There's just been... Okay. There's just been... So, the most depressing spells so far, I think. Gnomes is pretty sad. Alright, I will throw that out there. Gnomes now is pretty sad. What else were there? The Death Scion was pretty sad. It's definitely lower than balance and stuff in some of the other schools and damage wise. So that got nerfed. Dr. Von got nerfed. Other big nerfs. Storm got some big nerfs. Other schools got some little small nerfs. Ice just got worse, so I'm sorry for Ice Wizards. Ice, I don't even know what to say about Ice. I guess they're trying to focus Ice being more of a tank school now. And they lowered pretty much all of their damage on all of their spells for 48 plus. So Ice got nerfed quite a bit. I guess they're trying to make them more of a tank school now and not one of like the big three anymore. So especially for PvP, Ice got nerfed quite a bit, and some of the other schools got a little bit of a buff for PvP, in my opinion. So when it comes to PvP though, now I think every school has, you know, a little more like they gained some strengths and some weaknesses now in this new update. So this update has definitely changed the PvP community. It definitely has changed the meta and a lot of the other things that are going on in this game now. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting where and how they're gonna take this in the game. So I'm kind of curious what King's Isle is going to do. I'm liking the new characters. Their smiles are kind of creepy, though. They kind of like... They're a little too happy to be doing the stuff they do in the Spiral. They're just smiling, and like when you speak in the game, their like mouth moves like a puppet, kind of. So, I mean, that's kind of cool and all, but it's just kind of... It's something you got to get used to, I guess. But it's kind of creepy. But looks like they made the clothing a little more slick and stuff, so that's good. I can clearly see my fingers now. Yeah, looky there. I could see my individual fingers. It's not like a flipper. I don't have a flipper anymore, guys. I have individual fingers. Look at that. Even while holding the spear. It's kind of like how you'll hold a spear in real life, except she's kind of, if you look closely, she's really not holding the spear with that one hand. It's kind of like floating a little bit if you look at it. Right there, you see that? There's a gap right there. She's not really holding a spear right there. It just kind of looks like it from far away. But they got kind of lazy here. And she's kind of like... Is she really holding the spear in the other hand? I don't think she's holding it at all. Hang on, let's look right. Oh, no, she's not really holding it. Oh, wait a second. Actually, her like palm is touching it right here, but her fingers aren't really grabbing it. Look, they're not really grabbing the sphere. So it's kind of like she has maybe Yeah, right here, she's not even holding it at all with that hand. She's just holding with the palm. So she's probably got like, so my wizard probably has like Gorilla Glue or something on her palm on one hand and just literally holds up this whole entire sphere with that palm. I don't even know what's going on here, but I didn't even notice until now. So she's not really holding a spear. So I mean, from a distance it looks like she is, but up close you can tell she's not really holding it. There's no way a person can do that. But she's a wizard, so it doesn't really matter. All right, looks like some people are messaging me, so I'm gonna end the video there, guys. If you like the video, go ahead and like it up. It makes me able to see what you guys like, and so I can make more videos like this one. Also, it helps me in getting my video recommended to others and spread the word to everybody, and helps me get noticed and helps supports me better. So if you like the video, thank you for liking it. Subscribe if you guys want to see more. It helps me out, and it also helps others find me better if you subscribe to my channel. And yeah, thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace out.